This is why exotic bullies are so expensive. Good, fam. What's good? What's good, man? Glad to hear back, man. Peace to all the subscribers, man. Peace to all the new subscribers. If you ain't a subscriber, man, hit the subscribe button. Come on in off the bench for the big win, man. It's going down over here, man. Hardcut Bully Kennels. And you seen the title, man. We ready. Black Widow is in heat. And my man Chucky been trying his best. We ain't all the way there yet, but everybody ready, man. It's that time. She's in heat. He is in heat, so we're gonna go to Chucky. Come on, Chucky. He's been out with it today, but it is out here. It's 105 degrees out here right now, so we couldn't mess around too much this morning. I don't want him to overheat, so we're gonna wait till this evening and let it cool down a little bit, man. Try to get around 85, 90, man, at least, and then I'll feel a little bit safer with letting him have at it. But he was pretty good. Look like we're gonna do it naturally without artificial insemination. With the artificial insemination, I'd have to take her down to the vet, get the progesterone test done, so that we can know when the best time to artificially inseminate is. And then after you do the progesterone test, I would have to ejaculate the stud and then inseminate the female. Which is a good, safe way to do everything, especially with exotics. It's a lot of times what you have to do. And but what I'm trying to do, particularly with my bullies, my camp, is I want to do it naturally, and I want to breed dogs that can do it naturally, so that they produce dogs that can do it naturally. That's what I'm trying to do, and still have good exotic dogs or good pocket-sized dogs, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna try this natural first. I have an artificial insemination set up for this afternoon with another stud I had, Moose, which is Chucky's father. But I would rather let Chucky go. I really thought about reading the creed. Y'all can leave it in the comments, let me know what you think. But I think I'm gonna go with Chucky. Then there'll be exotic, there'll be pocket size, and Black Widow's 13 inches. Chucky ain't, if he's 14, he ain't much higher. I mean, I really think he's the same height. I got pictures of them both together. You can look for yourself. But so they're both well under 14 inches. We know they're well under 14 inches. I won't say 13 for sure because I haven't measured Chucky, but I know he's under 14 inches because of the height in comparison with her. And Chucky got everything I'm needing. He got the big head. He got great temperament. A lot of mass, a lot of muscle on him. On a short frame. He's correct. Everything's pointing forward. He's got good hindquarters. He's a little more bulldog than what I wanted in the face. But Black Widow is way more pit bull than most bullies in the face. She got an excellent bloodline though. She's the granddaughter of Dax, Gotti Line's Dax. She got a lot of exotic and everything, and she got a lot of good championship in her bloodline too. But she really have that old school pit bull face, and that's why I picked her. When with the female being 65% of the genes, I'm thinking the puppies is going to take a lot of that look from her. And hopefully we're going to get the size, the bone mass, regardless, the way that they're paired, we're gonna have some nice pups, man. I just have a particular, what I'm trying to do. I want the pit bull face to come out a little more, but either way, we're gonna have some nice pups, man. So we getting started on that today. She been in heat about 3 or 4 days. I took a little trip to Little Rock, Arkansas. Came back, and, there's a bunch of spotting, so I believe it's been about 3 days out there. The guy that was helping me really doesn't know enough to tell me what's going on, but I believe it's been about 3 or 4 days from what I can tell. And she's very susceptible. She's not fighting the male or anything, so I think this is gonna go good. But we'll wait till tonight when it's a little bit cooler, and we'll try it again. My boy King Creed. Could've came with King Creed, but I think Chucky's the size I want, the smallest size I want. King Creed, he'll come next year. We'll save the last breeding for him. You want to, females get about 4 breedings, and then you need to retire them. She's only had 1, she had a C-section. So we'll do this one, that'll be 2. And we'll get a C-section on that. She'll still be able to breed bred 2 more times. So I want to save the last breeding for her and Creed and produce this other bigger line that I was trying to do too. So I have the exotic line and the hard cut exotic and the hard cut pocket line. That's what I'm trying to do. But hey, we out here, man. We out here. If you ain't a subscriber yet, hit the subscriber. Come on in for the big win. I will be giving away some pups in this litter. 1 pup in this litter. Don't let me say pups. Let me say 1. So come on in, be a subscriber, so you can get in part of this raffle, be part of the contest, whatever. Leave comments on the post. Let me know who he is. We're gonna see if we can get you in for the big win. But if you ain't on the team, you ain't gonna get the big win, man. This is once in a lifetime deal. This is hard cut out here. So anyway, man, real quick, we in and we out. We'll holler at y'all this evening. All right, people, man, let's go over, man. We back. It's about, man, probably 7 o'clock in the evening. Believe it or not, it's still 100 degrees out here. So I don't want to overexert the stud. We're gonna wait a little bit longer. We got all night. We got a few weeks. So I thought this would be a good time to go over why I'm so excited that we at this point finally. And the main reason is that this does not happen all the time. Unless you're a breeder, you might not notice. But a dog really doesn't go in the heat but about twice a year. And when you get that, you got a certain window that you need to get everything done. Now, if you're doing an artificial insemination, you need to find out, you need to be really looking so you can see when she goes in heat. And once you know when your dog goes in heat, try to keep that on the calendar, and then you can be mindful for that as it goes on. But you want to make sure to see when she's going in heat, because you'll be able to count some days in there. And at a certain point, you need to go to the veterinarian and get a progesterone test to see if she's at the right level to be inseminated. If that's the case, then you take the stud there and you have to pull semen from the stud and inseminate the female. This is the hard part of breeding exotic. This is why exotic bullies are so expensive, because you're gonna have to, 9 times out of 10, they're not the right proportion to even do it naturally. So you're gonna have to help them. I mean, it's not uncommon. You do these type of things with cows and horses. All this happens normally. You got a $1 million horse, and you need somebody just bought it. So I'm trying to make sure it's a Wall Street. Y'all just finna give me the business. Oh, he was sneaking behind me. But anyway, if you had a $1 million horse and you sold it for stud feed, they would do these things to make sure that the stud took. And I've been to auctions downtown where they frozen the horse semen in a long block like this, and they selling squares of it to people at auction. So it's not uncommon, and that's what I think is that most people are not going to go through all the things that they need to go through to breed exotic dogs. So that's why I said I wanted to make a line, my bloodline, to be where they could breed themselves if they needed to, for the simple fact of the safety of the dog. Not because I don't want, not because I don't think everybody can do it. What I'm saying is sometimes you get a female and the guy don't know all of the extras about exotics, and the dog will get pregnant and he don't know he need a C-section. The dog will sit there and suffer and die. You go, hey, what happened to what happened to Redbone? What the dog at? Oh man, she dead. What happened? You know, and that be the cause. They won't tell you. They won't let you see the dog. So that's what be the cause, and I don't want that happening to regular people that really do like dogs and just ignorant of it. So I'm trying to do it a certain way. I still want the smaller dogs. I still want the bulk, but I want to breed dogs that can naturally breed, so I don't have to go through the AI stuff. I'm not saying anything wrong with it. Like I said, it is done in breeding, period. It's not just American. Don't put it on us. This is done in all breeding. But I don't want to do the extras, and I don't want my customers to have to eventually do the extras. So this is a goal. There's going to be fine dogs regardless, but this is the goal, the vision that I had when I started the Bully Kennel. So I'm excited that we're finally here. Normally when you start a Bully Kennel, it would take you 2 years because you got to get up some puppies and you got to let them grow for a couple years before you can breed. You want to let the female go past the first heat cycle. You don't want to breed on the first heat cycle. You want the eggs to be mature. You want her to be strong enough, everything. So you go past the first heat cycle, and the next heat cycle is when you start breeding that female, and you get 4 breeds out of it. So in a normal situation, I would have had to wait 2 years to be able to do it. But I bought Black Widow so that I could have a head start at going. And while I'm waiting, and it's turned out good. So it looks like, from what just what we've been doing earlier, look like they'll be able to do this naturally, and that's what I'm shooting for anyway. If not, I have AI set up. I just am not rushing to it yet. You have roughly 2 to 4 weeks is what you would think on a heat cycle. So I'm not even a week in, so I'm not panicking yet. I'm gonna see if this can happen first. I'm gonna give it every possibility, but I don't want them to overheat, overexert themselves. So we're gonna wait till it get a little bit cooler. Then we're gonna let them get better. The kennels right next to each other, so the wheels away anyway. So that's what I'm trying to do, is keep Chucky kind of calm down until he reaches this time, so he don't get overexerted. They can get overexerted even if he was having to pull the semen, which at this point, one way or another, this is the breeding that we want to do, because I wouldn't know if it took and then I go to get another AI and it really be Chucky that took. So at this point, I'm in it now because I've already let them start trying. So if he can't get it accomplished, then we will go with the AI, but just with Chucky instead of with Moose, which is my backup. You need a backup stud. You can't go with one stud. Even though that's the stud you want, you got to make sure you have another one that's the same proportion of what you're trying to do too. Just in case this stud, anything can happen where that stud might not be available the day that you need to go get this AI done. The day that they say the levels is right and everything, and you need to get this done, anything might happen. Which is why you need somebody that's reputable, ain't going nowhere, they can give you good stud service, and you make sure you get it when it's supposed to be done on time, and then everything will go fine. So the main thing is you need to have a good stud and a backup, just what I say, so that you will be sure that you don't miss this window. Um, Other things to look for is that you gotta, since you're doing this, you need to know the signs of when she's going in heat. And the first thing, she'll get a little bit more puffy in the back end, and you'll be able to notice that. If you have any boys around, they will be able to point this out to you. They should. If you got some boys around, they should be able to point out to you. This is because they smelling the ground and everything. For me, I have 2 dominant females. And I have to keep them on different sides of the kennels, different side of the property when I can. But when they can get along most of the time, but if one of them goes in heat, I will know it, because it's on sight when they see the other one. They leave me, get away. They trying to get them off the yard, and that's because while they're walking around, I got them off at different times walking around, but one female can smell the other female going in heat. And they're like, oh, okay, she's finna trying to get the stud. And the other female, like, I'm in heat, I'm supposed to get the stud. So they, that's the first sign that I see, because I notice my dogs real close like that. I can notice their temperament toward each other. I know, okay, it's getting close. Then the boys will start acting different. It's getting close, and I can see the noticing with the vulva getting a little bit more enlarged. The next test is you get your a napkin, a yellow napkin, white napkin, and you pat her back in. And when you start seeing red, you do this every day until you start seeing little spots of red, and you know she's getting ready to come in the heat. And once it's really going, she'll be bleeding. So if you have her in an apartment, then you're gonna have to get her in a kennel and get a designated area. You don't want her in the front room on the carpet at this point, because she's gonna be bleeding. It's just nothing about nowhere around it. I unfortunately have a situation where the outdoor kennels and indoor kennels are vacant. She's fine. But I started to notice spotting, and then I was like, okay, we're definitely there. Now, my last test, I take her out and I let the studs come with her. And if she's receptive to the stud, it's time. Because if it's not time, they will not be receptive to that stud. But if it's time, they will present themselves to it. So you got to be aware of all of this so that you can get your timing right in the window, because you only got one time, and then you're going to have to wait 5-6 more months to get another chance at it. And you're wasting money. So you got to be on it. And your studs got to be on it. And your stud service got to be on it. Your veterinarians got to be on it. And you got to be on it. You got to have that team assembled and ready to go once you start to see signs that she's going in the heat. All right, everybody, we got it cooled down a little bit in Oklahoma, man. It's still hot, but we done cooled it down enough. We can get out here and mess with the dogs a little bit tonight. Got back with already. I just got this cable with her because just in case I don't want anything to happen to me and Chucky. I want to be as extra safety. You see, Chucky is very much energized, ready to go. But we out here, man. You know what I'm talking about? And get you some hard cut, man. It's on.